Hey there everyone, I'm Coach Adam and welcome to day 2 of the Holiday Ham Challenge. This month we are really going to focus in on these glutes and go over their functionality, but also the role that they play in basically the whole body movement, as well as efficiency that they provide when it comes to many different movements. Not only in movements that just isolate the glutes themselves, but movements that incorporate multiple muscle groups throughout the entire body. So again, as a reminder, the glutes do start right here at the base of your spine in the bone inside of your hips known as the coccyx. It's this huge fused bone that's right down there at the bottom of your spine. The glutes also start right up here at the upper edge of your hip bones right here, and then they wrap around and attach themselves right on top of the bone in your thigh known as the femur, and the glute max muscle wraps around into the IT band that goes down the side of your leg. So that is where they are basically shaped and located in your body. Now, one function that the glutes are primarily responsible for is known as hip external rotation. What that basically means is when your hips start in a neutral position just like so, and they're facing straight forward, but they want to rotate outward and move like that, the muscle that primarily assists with that is the glutes themselves. Because essentially when you think about it, when the glutes squeeze going in that direction, you're bringing both ends, the ends at the base of the spine and the ends on the top of the femur bone right here, you're bringing them closer together, so you're squeezing that muscle and causing that muscle to help rotate that hip outward. And basically when you work on that, what you're essentially doing is help build that three-dimensional shape in the glutes that they are pretty much known for, which ties into, in fact, three-dimensional movement, because the body just doesn't move straight forward and straight to the side. It also rotates, it twists around, and that is the movement that these muscles really help with, is that hip external rotation to help with three-dimensional movement. Now, one exercise that really helps with that and for us to build up glute strength as well as glute activation is known as the clam. So the clam can be done down on the floor on your side, and you would do this on both sides because when you're laying down on one side you can work one side of the glutes, but then you would have to flip over to work the other side. So what you want to do is come down, laying down on your side completely. I don't personally recommend staying up on an elbow or fully extended arm, and I'll explain why in just a second. But you want to be all the way down on the floor on your side with your torso facing straight ahead, one leg on top of the other. Have the top knee just past the bottom knee, so that way it's just a little past the bottom knee right there. And you want to have your hips facing straight forward. You can have your top hand right on top of your hip bone for stabilization. And then from here, all you're going to do is press against the outside of your top knee and rotate it up, feeling that squeeze in your glutes. As you're moving through this, I would like to visualize my glutes pretty much starting from the base of my spine and wrapping around to the top of my leg, and then thinking about like right at that point where they attach at the top of my leg. I want to then grab onto that and then yank it back to the other end of the muscle, feeling that squeeze in that muscle as I lift that knee up, and then with control come back down. Now, the reason why I said not to lift yourself up onto your forearm is because if we shorten this distance between our bottom ribs and the hips, this essentially comes up more into your obliques, therefore taking the glutes out of the equation and therefore not putting a lot of work in there. But we want to keep this in the glutes, so you want to keep that space as wide as you can between the ribs and your hips, like not overemphasizing it, but just keeping it neutral. And then just make sure you're really feeling that squeeze in the glutes as you're lifting your knee up. Also, I know I mentioned that this is responsible for hip external rotation, to rotate the hip out, but if we think about just rotating that hip and lifting the knee with it, we're not really getting a lot of muscle activation in the glutes out of this. So what I like to do is keep my hand right there on the hip, like I mentioned before, and that's going to keep my hip bones facing straight forward and staying neutral while I think primarily of just squeezing that muscle and lifting that knee, to really think about shortening the distance from one end of the glute muscle to the other and just yanking it in, but still keeping those hips facing straight forward. And this really starts building up a burn around the bottom edges of the glutes right here. Much like Coach Jennifer, when I teach this in classes, I don't generally like to go for reps. I would only go for reps if it was part of my individual training and that I was just working for myself. But in classes, I like to definitely go for time, because I feel if you can go for more reps over a set period of time, that definitely proves that you're building up that endurance, therefore building up more activation in that muscle. Also, if you are a seasoned exerciser and you've been doing this for quite a while and you feel like you want to take this to the next level, a simple way to do that is just to add a mini loop band. So what you do with the mini loop band is you wrap it around your legs, bring it right up above your knees. So let me put it right up here. So just above the knees, not exactly to mid-thigh, but just above the knees. Come back to your side, back on the floor, hand on top of your hip, torso facing straight forward, top knee slightly in front of the bottom knee. And then from here, I'm going to squeeze that glute muscle and keep pushing that knee up. And now I got more resistance to push against with my glute muscle, but still keeping the hip as neutral as possible and really feeling that squeeze along the side and bottom of my glutes right there. So now I have more to press against to build up much more strength inside that glute muscle. So give this a try. Give this a few minutes, give this a set or two for yourself. You can go for as many reps as you want to try. You can set yourself a time limit for say a minute, maybe 90 seconds. See how many you can do on each side. Make sure you give yourself a period of rest in between each. And then make sure you leave comments below to let us know that you're done for the day. Let us know your thoughts, because we are here to help you guys live your best lives, and we can only do that with your feedback. Thank you guys so much for joining me for day 2 of the Holiday Ham Challenge. I will see you guys next time.